Welcome to TTM Cast, your sports collectibles podcast. Sponsored by CGC Cards, card grading all in one place. CGC Cards is devoted to expert grading of collectible cards, including TCGs, sports cards, and non-sports cards. And by sportscollectorsdaily.com. If it happens in the hobby, you'll find it on sportscollectorsdaily.com. And sponsored by GemRate.com. The latest grading statistic from the 4 major grading companies is just a click away. Visit GemRate.com. It's free. And now, here's our host, Drew Pelto.
Well, hello everybody. We are coming to you once again here with TTM Cast, your sports collectibles podcast. It's a place where we talk about all things related to TTM, cards, autographs, collecting, and whatever else comes to our mind that might be worth bringing up on here. We're into season number 7, episode number 4, as we have reached pretty much the end of January here. January 25th is when this one is going up online. So thanks for tuning in to this nationally ranked sports collectibles podcast. I am Drew Pelto. I am the host of the show, coming to you from the Dallas-Fort Worth area here in Texas. And I'm joined by the new one at the top of the depth chart of co-hosts, Arron Littleton. Good to have you on once again.
I'm number one. It's good to be here again and to have not been fired for another week.
Yeah, I think this might be a record for most shows in a row where I have not fired you. So well done.
I know. I'm trying to put a Guinness Book of World Records together, and we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah. Well, taking a look at the week in sports news, I think I just have 2 letters that I need to say right now, and that is OH! It came out to 4 letters, but Ohio State, national champs, defeating Notre Dame in there, and just a fun game to watch there. I mean, less fun during the third and early part of the fourth quarter, but overall, a good 50 minutes of football, at least, in that game.
I'm real happy that Jen was there to finish that, because I wasn't going to finish it.
You were. That's why I made sure that she was within earshot there for me to say that. So
that was great planning on your part. Good job.
Yeah. So yeah, Ohio State ends up taking down the college football playoff tournament and somehow not unanimously recognized as the national champions. Out of these ranking systems that also count technically as national champions, the Wolf system, a ranking system that's done like a computer ranking system, is still keeping Oregon as the number 1 team and therefore their national champions. So, the entire reason the college football playoff exists is to get rid of this, split championship stuff. And yet 2024-25 is going to count as a split championship between Ohio State and Oregon. And, I think that's ridiculous personally, but that's where we're at right now for this year's, college football championship.
That's crazy. I've never heard of anything like that. I knew that, for a long time, the college football system was broken, obviously, being a fan of more traditional sports, I guess, was more traditional playoff formats. I always wanted to see them go to a playoff, a more expanded playoff format. But that's crazy, man. Oregon, you mean the team that got beat down? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, that's the same one. The guys who have the 0 on their helmets to go with the number of national championships they've won is now going to have to change that to like a 0.16 or something like that. I think is what it's going to come down to, that they get a share of it in there. So, it's weird, but I think it's the first non-unanimous national championship since probably 97, I want to say. I think was the year that the 2 major polls split between Nebraska and Michigan. That's kind of what led to the birth of the BCS, was everyone's looking saying, well, why can't we get those 2 teams to play each other for an actual national championship? And well, BCS comes into effect there very soon after. So the whole thing, that's why it exists, and it still ends up as a split now, which is kind of stupid, but oh well, what can I say? I'm still recognizing Ohio State is winning it outright, so I think most people probably will too. So, yeah. A little other football news, of course, down to the championship games here in each conference. Chiefs and the Bills, Eagles and the Commanders. Any thoughts, any predictions there on those at all, Arron?
Well, I mean, I think I have to go for as most contrarians will against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think I'd like to see Buffalo win. I like Josh Allen and all of them, and so we'll see how that one goes. For the NFC, I don't really know. I'm gonna try to catch as much as I can in between working and flipping children and all of that on Sunday. But yeah, hopefully some good games will be had.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my friend Aubrey would hit me if I don't cheer for the Chiefs, but she's a Kansas City native and everything there. But I have to say, I mean, I'm not that highly opposed to the Chiefs as it seems like a lot of people have become over the last few years. They're fun to watch. They're a good team. Travis Kelce's a Cleveland guy, so I don't hate them. It's like it gets a little repetitive, but at the same time, it would be cool to see a team three-peat. It's never happened before in the NFL, so I wouldn't mind seeing them. I don't hate them as much as everybody else, but Buffalo and Cleveland are kind of, they're brothers from different mothers, essentially. There, I mean, there's two tortured sports cities on Lake Erie that deal with a lot of snow. And so it's like seeing the Bills doing well. Us in Cleveland were like, all right, that kind of gives us some hope right there. And so, yeah, I'm not opposed to either team making it out of the AFC. And frankly, the NFC, seeing, two teams in the same division as the Cowboys playing for the NFC Championship is making a lot of people around this apartment laugh quite a lot seeing that. So I really don't care who wins any of these. I just want to see a couple of good games. I'm perfectly happy with whoever gets in for the most part, but I think a little bit I'd prefer the Commanders over the Eagles, but again, I have a lot of friends who are from Philly, so it's like I can't really go too vocally against them either. But I mean, let's be honest, Philly fans are not exactly decent people for the most part. There's a few good ones out there. Most of my friends have been really great, but yeah, I mean, that video of that Eagles fan going after that Packers fan with some very choice language there was like, okay, yeah, you're living up to your reputation there, guys.
And so two things about that. The first one, Buffalo and Cleveland, kindred spirits in snow and heartbreak.
Yes.
Yeah. And I saw this meme that I thought was funny. It's like idea for a new reality show. We have MMA champions go to Philadelphia Eagles games in the opposing team's jersey.
Yes. I would pay to see that series. Absolutely.
I think it would be pretty interesting.
Yes. Well, I just mentioned the Cowboys a moment ago, and they have a new head coach. Brian Schottenheimer is the new coach, and this just came out of nowhere, it seems. I mean, I had not heard his name mentioned at all. I mean, all the talk was, Dion, of course, was the big name. Kellen Moore was the other big name. Jason Witten was kind of the dark horse, and I'm Brian Schottenheimer? I'm shocked by this, frankly. 4-year deal on him as well. So he and Dak Prescott's contracts will both come to an end at the same time, which is very interesting timing right there. So it's kind of like, hey, we're going to force you two guys together, force you to work together, and if you don't succeed, we're going to start over with brand new people in both of your positions at the same time. So yeah, interesting to see. It'll be a strange few years here, I think, in the DFW area in football.
I think a lot of Cowboy fans, which I don't hate the Cowboys, but I'm not a particular Cowboy fan either. I think a lot of them would say that they want to know when Jerry's contract is up.
Yes, that is that's the general consensus, is that okay, nothing's going to change until he's out of the picture anyway. So it's like, sure, go ahead, throw anybody you want in on the sideline. We're still going to see the same old stuff happening here. So yeah, sure. Well, this week in collectibles, my spring training prep is almost done. I'm still sorting through the books. I finally have all my cards booked. Now I'm trying to take out the guys that's like, okay, these guys are still out there as free agents. So like the David Peraltas of the world can be removed from the Padres book and all that kind of stuff. So doing all that, shifting stuff around a bit, but almost there at least. And I did actually manage to pick up an addition to my 21 Topps Heritage set this week. And there's the dual card. Card number 5 in the set is a duel between Andres Jimenez and David Peterson. And I was able to find one signed by Peterson on eBay and pick that up for $5. Not bad at all there. Just need to get a Jimenez on it, which Unfortunately, it won't be happening this year since he was sent to Toronto, but I did find out why. I missed this in the photos there. The reason it was only $5, and I think it may have, I think it was just $5 there, but a little bit of paper missing on the back, unfortunately. So not sure how that happened or anything, but the front nice and clean at least. So I got that going for me, which is nice. I'll go ahead and grab that $5 any day right there. So happy to add those in. Aaron, how's your week been looking? Any cool pickups for you at all?
Well, firstly, I just hope with your spring training prep that you've added a couple extra pages to your Dodgers book. I think they've got 400 players that play for them now.
I have been making all of my books this year. I bought 2 reams of cardstock and sat in my wife's office and 3-hole punched each of those at one point. Well, I did that for the first one. The second one, I had to go and buy a 3-hole punch. I got one of those super heavy duty ones for it. But I've been baking my own binders from scratch for this. But yeah, so my Dodgers one, pretty decent size, but somehow it's still not the biggest one. I think the Giants one is bigger because they have so many people in their front office that have cards. So that one kind of expands a bit. But yeah, the Dodgers one is pretty good size there for sure.
Dodgers and Giants, eternal rivals, even in book size.
That's exactly.
So my week, I had a pretty quiet week. I was telling Drew before the show, it's like I didn't even get mail for 3 whole days. And I don't know why that was, if there was a thing going on in my local post office or what. But it showed in my informed delivery I had all of this stuff, and then nothing came for 3 days, so I don't know. And so pretty quiet week. I'm gonna go up to Oklahoma City with a friend of mine tomorrow to do that show, and I've never been before. It's supposed to be over 100 tables, and so pretty decent size show. And former Sooners and Green Bay Packer running back Damon Parker is going to be up there signing autographs. So if I'm going to drive all the way to Oklahoma City, I might as well snag an autograph while I'm there. So I've got a card for him, and we should be able to get that one done to complete a hopefully not completely empty autograph week.
Absolutely. It's anything you can add at that point. It's like, yeah, go ahead. We'll take that. We'll throw it on in. Well, there you go. This week's show, we're going to be talking some Grapher DIY as we are getting into the 4th episode of the season, the 4th episode of the month. We'll go through that with, we'll talk a little bit about some pens and what our recommendations are for some different types to use on different things and all that kind of stuff, because you don't want to use the same pen on everything. We'll talk a little more about all of that. But as always, we have all of our regular segments. Before we get into Grapher DIY, we have Baker's Dozen. Kind of a short week on that this week, as you'll see, so I guess we'll call it Baker's Half Dozen this week. But we'll have that before we get into Grapher DIY. After Grapher DIY, we have Making the Grade. We also get the TTM Cast stamp of approval, giving our thumbs up to something from the previous week. Could be literally anything. We get the Vern Rapp Minute, covering deaths in the world of sports, celebrity, music, movies, sports, politics, anybody that you might consider TTM, and we will try to let you know if they have passed away. And of course, the main reason why this show exists, why you're tuning in, why we are making it, it is our TTM Returns. If you'd like to get a hold of us with any questions, comments, anything like that, Aaron, what is the email address here for our show?
That email address is ttmcast@yahoo.com.
So feel free to send us anything you got. If you want to talk about something, if there's something you want us to cover on the show, we'll try to talk about it. Just send it on over to us there. If you'd like to be a guest in Collector's Corner, let us know through there. We'll see if we can get set up for you. If you want to get a hold of one of us directly, you can find me at dfwgrapher.com for my website. I'm on most social media as dfwgrapher. That includes Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram, as my cat just did some kind of crazy parkour thing over on the couch across the room. That was pretty cool right there. Kitty cat. Nice job. And you can find me by email at dfwgrapher@gmail.com. Aaron, what can they find you at?
I'm going to need you to tape the parkour next time. You know I'm an acro expert. That's what I do with in my everyday life. I want to see some cat parkour. I haven't seen that before.
I wasn't expecting her to do that, but she came running in and did this like kind of half jump off the front of Jen's chair over there with like, I can't really explain it. I mean, she just kind of like did this weird little half jump on there, but yeah.
All right, you'll have to train that and get back to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can find me on Instagram. My main Instagram where I have my Michael Young collection and all of that is Arron Sports Card Explosion. That is Arron, Arron, because that's how my parents decided to spell my name when I was little, or when I was born, I guess. And if you want to see my quest to visit every affiliated ballpark in the land in America and Canada, I'm up to 80 ballparks. You can follow me also on Instagram at the Eternal Graphing Tour with underscores in between each one of those words.
I think we need to get a sound effect of an explosion every time you mention Arron's Sports Card Explosion. So, Ruthie, as you're editing this, feel free to see if you can find one at some point. Maybe not right now, but whenever you have a moment. I think we need to put that in.
I'm all for it.
There you go. Well, there you go. We've got an intro in. Let's go on into Baker's Dozen.
Baker's Dozen, sponsored by SportsCollectorsDaily.com.
Smart collectors turn to Sports Collectors Daily to stay up to date. From new releases to incredible collections hitting the auction block, news from inside the business of sports collectibles, and much more, Sports Collectors Daily has it, all with no subscription cost. SC Daily also delivers a live look at the most watched sports card auctions on eBay for every sport. Sign up to get the headlines in your email for free, or just visit the website whenever you like. With 16,000 stories in the archive going back 16 years, there's always plenty to read at SportsCollectorsDaily.com.
Baker's Dozen is a news summary of all things related to collectibles news, anything that's been going on. Usually a lot of stuff about releases and upcoming shows, but we've got a whole lot of stuff to cover here this week. Maybe not a whole lot, though, because those two sections are kind of short. So we're into Baker's half dozen, basically, is what we've got here this week. But I want to remind you, I write an article every week for SportsCollectorsDaily.com. Go check that out, as this week I talk about good TTMers from Notre Dame and Ohio State, considering they just played for a national championship. I also show off all of my TTMs that come in, so a lot of photos there from last week's batch. SportsCollectorsDaily.com. Go and check that out. Also, if you'd like to get yourself a TTM Cast shirt, a hat, a bag to hold your pens in, anything like that, we got some really cool stuff on there. Go check out the TTM Cast store. That's at ttmcast.com. Click on the banner up top to be taken to the TTM Cast store. I still have my water bottle that I use quite often as well, but go and check everything out that you can find on there. ttmcaststore.com. Get yourself some more cool stuff there. Let's take a look at a little bit of hobby news here from the week. And this one was just brought to my attention today because I think it just dropped this week. If you're looking for an easy way to catalog and display your collection online, well, there's an app for that. Finally, I've been waiting for something like this to come out, but introducing Vitrine. It's a site and an app where you can fill out a simple template with info on your items to add them all at once in one fell swoop. Go back and add photos to show them off easily. It sounds really cool. Nick Key, who is I know Les mentioned him last week, actually, during his segment on the show. He has been one of the ones who's been helping to put this thing together, and he's been working on it for a couple of years with the creators of it, and they finally officially launched this week. You can find it under My Vitrine, one word, that's Vetrine, on the Apple App Store and Google Play. So no matter what kind of phone you've got there, you can find it on there. Go and check that out. I'm going to be getting on it this week to give it a try, but from what I saw on the pictures of it, it looks pretty cool. So go and check it out. My Vitrine on your App Store.
If you mailed to an Indiana address and paid for Tommy John's autograph, sadly, your item is fake, with the signature coming from his ex-wife. But on the positive side, Tommy and his agent want to make things right. His agent is Mike McGuire, and he is asking that you send messages of images of your autographs and any canceled checks to him in an effort to find out how widespread the problem is, and hopefully to make it right. McGuire handles signings for Jose Canseco, Jim Cott, Corey Snyder. You had to put Corey Snyder in there.
Yes, I did.
And others in addition to John. You can contact Mike via email at espnmcguire@hotmail.com.
Lastly, the Topps rookie debut patch 1 of 1 Paul Skeens card has been finally found by a Los Angeles 11-year-old collector. So, wow, the Dodgers just getting everything now. I mean, they get this card along with all the players there. So, wow. The Pirates, of course, you may remember, offered up a major bounty to whoever pulled this card. That's Gonna have like meet and greets with Skeens and Livy Dunn. Season tickets behind home plate for 30 years. And even I think there's like a private game for friends at PNC Park. It's coached by former Pirates players. I mean, that's pretty cool right there. But the collector refused the trade offer. And reports say that he's going to send the card to be auctioned off to benefit LA fire relief charities. So, got to say, I mean, bravo on him for putting it up to benefit something like that. But man, that is a lot to pass on there. As I mean, even if you're not a Pirates fan, that's an easy sale right there. 30 years worth of season tickets behind home plate. You're going to be able to sell those for every single game, no matter what the team is. So good on the kid for that. But wow, I mean, that's a tough decision right there.
Yeah, I wonder if the deal came with airfare from LA to Pittsburgh.
Probably not. So yeah.
I mean, if you're given all of that, you might as well just send a private jet to go pick him up. You know what I'm saying? That's
true. I will say, I mean, it reminds me a bit of, I believe it was at some point in the early 2000s, MLB Showdown ran a national tournament. This is this game that was created by Wizards of the Coast that involves, rolling a 20-sided die and playing a baseball game using that. And I mean, I love playing it and everything. I know you and I have played a couple times there, but they had a national championship for it. And the winning player got season tickets to any team of their choice. And ultimately, the guy who won one of the tournaments, I don't know if it was the very first one or just one of them further down the line once he'd had a chance to study the game a bit, but he played this total, like, super aggressive game style that, like, made it look nothing like baseball. But he got season tickets. This is a guy who lived in, like, I want to say he lived in California or something like that and got season tickets for the Cubs because, again, he researched it to see, okay, who could I sell these for the most out of any team? And he got season tickets for the Cubs and just sold all the tickets from it. And it's like, dude, 30 years of Pirates tickets right behind home plate. That's a long-term investment right there. I mean, even if you can't go to a single game, sell those, you're going to make a pretty decent amount right there over a long time. But yeah.
Talk to Magic Johnson, see if you can get him to let you fly with the Dodgers to Pittsburgh, and then you just watch the Dodgers beat down the Pirates,
Exactly.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Let's take a look at some new releases here that we've got coming up as we get to the end of the month. Again, a very short list here. We're going to start off with a little bit of hockey from Upper Deck. We've got the 23-24 Upper Deck Clear Cut hockey set coming out on January 31st. This is one of those lottery ticket products, as Jeff Baker used to call it, as you get one card per pack, one pack per box. It is a premium autographed card, so you're going to get something cool, and hopefully you get a big name in there to justify the $100 price tag for a single card. But hey, if that's your thing, go ahead and check it out. January 31st is when Upper Deck Clear Cut Hockey releases for the 2023-24 season.
And also on January 31st, we've got 2025 Topps WWE Chrome. You'll get 8 cards per pack, 12 packs per box, 2 Chrome autos per box, and the pre-sale price for that product is $160.
Another one's a little bit of a lottery ticket here is the 2024 Leaf Ultimate Sports set, which is coming out on January 31st as well. You get 3 cards per box in this one, and I haven't seen anything about any autograph guarantees, but a lot of patches going on in there in these cards. I saw the previews of it there on their product info sheet on Steel City Collectibles, and there's some really cool looking stuff that's in there. So, yeah, if you're looking for a little bit of a gamble, go and check it out. $480 is the pre-sale price for Leaf Ultimate Sports. Pretty limited show calendar going on here this week as, not sure exactly why it's looking short, but I know next week's one is looking pretty darn short too. So I might have to dig a little bit deeper on it for next week's show. But at the very least for this, we'll start off with Marlins having their Fan Fest on February the 8th. That'll be at Lone Depot Park in Miami, and they have free admission to their Fan Fest. You can just get a complimentary ticket on their website. They do at least say they're going to have some photo ops and meet and greets, but no info as to whether autographs will be permitted at those meet and greets or not. So might want to dig a little bit deeper into that if you have any interest in going there, if you're in the Miami area. You can do that at MLB.com/Marlins.
And then we also have the Livonia cards, sports cards and memorabilia show that's going on February 9th at the Livonia Elk Lodge, number 2246, 2246. Denny McClain will be signing there for $25 an item. And for more information, you can check out the Livonia Card Show on Facebook.
There you go. So yeah, if you want to check out some of those products, go and check out that show or any others that might happen to be in your area. I know Sports Collectors Digest has a show calendar on their site as well. So if you're not near Livonia, Michigan, go check out Sports Collectors Digest there and see if there might be a show that happens to be a little bit closer to you. In the meantime, though, let's go on into Grapher DIY.
Ready for some tips and tricks? It's time for Grapher DIY.
Well, Grapher DIY just kind of gives us a chance to give you some ideas on stuff you can do to help your collection prep, anything for your collection in general outside of the items itself. And so I actually got an email here a couple of weeks ago from one of our listeners, Jack Smith. He said, while at my local Home Depot store, I picked up a couple of Milwaukee Inkzall permanent markers for possible use in IP graphing. Inkzall being spelled Inkzall. He said they are fine point, so you don't get the big, bulky signature. The price of 99 cents was also nice. They come in blue, black, and red. Jack goes on to say, I tested on a 24 Stadium Club and 24 Bowman card without the cards being prepped in any manner. I signed it, took my thumb across it, and did not get a smear. That is definitely good to know. He says, I thought I'd pass it on to you to possibly look at for your upcoming spring training trip or as an addition or replacement to the Sharpie. I'm looking at using it on a card-by-card basis, depending on what type of ink I think will look best on the card I'm getting signed. Love the podcast. Looking forward to the 2025 episodes. So there you go. Some ideas out there. Because I know, Arron, you have been a Sharpie aficionado no matter what. I mean, I have switched pens up quite a bit there, just trying to find something that's going to work well with minimal prep, and results have been varied. I kind of want to try this Inkzall pen here if I can check it out. Any thoughts on it, or are you going to stick with the Sharpie there for yourself?
I am a simple man, Drew. And yeah, I don't know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, I've got, nearly 20,000 autographs, and to my knowledge, the vast majority of them are in Sharpie. Who knows what, you get stuff back through the mail. Who knows what pen they're using, but almost all of the IP ones I get are Sharpie. And, people, I've seen all sorts of stuff back when we were doing the tunnel at the Ranger game, way back when, Josh Hamilton would pull up and he'd sign all this stuff. And then people had all these paint pens. And then there was one day he opened the door and he showed us the inside of the truck door. And there was just paint pens in 30 different colors. It looked like a abstract painting. Because it had all busted in there and stuff. And it's I'm not trying to ruin my autograph by overthinking it. Just get a Sharpie. I rub it down. I'm a simple man.
Reminds me of the time I saw a guy drop a pen right on Christoph Oliwa's suit jacket, and he just had this horrified look on his face of good God, man, what'd you just do to my suit here? But yeah, jeez. For the most part, I try to. I'm going back to the blue Sharpie a lot lately. I've had my several years of venturing into the realm of the Statler. But something has happened with Statler ink lately. I don't know what it is, but it used to be that you didn't have to prep a card at all, even chrome ones, if it was getting signed in Statler. It wouldn't bubble up on any glossy cards. It wouldn't bubble up on any chrome cards. It worked so well. And somewhere along the line, I think the ink has changed on it, because now you have to prep everything where you didn't have to before. So it's you know what? Why do I want to pay a premium for these Statlers if they're going to get the exact same results as a Sharpie? So I'm back on the Sharpie bandwagon right now, but I'm intrigued by this Inkzall. I might have to try this out and just give it a shot and see what happens. But yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Let me know. I would definitely be interested. Yeah, the Statler, I know all about that. I had to borrow one from you one time, and I've got a Bryce Miller Bowman Chrome that would beg to differ with it. It will just sign with a no prep.
Yeah, it's like I said, something has happened with their ink. I don't know what, but I've gone from being a Statler aficionado to being no, let's stick with that Sharpie and just prep well. But of course, you don't want to use a Sharpie on everything you get signed. But I know with your stuff, Arron, you mostly stick to just the cards and the photos. But you've got to have at least a few signed balls in there. Do you have a preference on what kind of pen? I know, because I mean, everybody's sent. It's you've got to go with the ballpoint on a baseball for the most part, or else it's going to just bleed all over the place there. But do you have any preferences there when it comes to like black versus blue versus anything else?
I tend to prefer blue, and I'm not sure why. I don't know. It's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, I think. But I mean, just a blue Bic. I don't get a lot of baseball sign, but when I do, it's normally for a long time I was getting. My mom would get me every year a home run derby ball or the All-Star ball, and I would get all the Rangers autographs on that. And so, blue or black, just Bic. Again, I'm a simple man. But before we leave the Sharpie thing, just a pro tip. I prefer a little bit thicker autograph. I don't want like the pen, like the really, really small one. And so I fray the tip of the Sharpie against the cap, and that widens it out a little bit. And I don't know. I prefer a bold signature.
I'm a little surprised I haven't seen you prepping your pen by like scraping it on sandpaper or something like that. Cutting around a sheet of that with you or something. But
oh no, I didn't think about that. Again, a simple man. So the cap is right there, and so you just fray it a little bit, and there you go. It should work wonders. Nice bold signature on everything you get.
So you do not want the Sharpie to live up to its name, is what you're saying?
No, I would like it to be a little bit thicker.
You mentioned paint pens a little bit earlier. Have you dabbled much in using them at all, ever?
I've never used a paint pen, and that's because I watched them explode on all these people's tunnel. Like, it basically, in my, and there's been 100 different ones. I can't even, it was like Prismacolor or something. There was like all these different ones. And, I've been around graphers basically since I was like 10, 11 years old. And I've been doing this my whole life. And so I've seen some definite, horror shows happen, to other people. And I was like, bro, I am never in this is going to be like my 25th season or something like that graphing. I have never not once had a Sharpie explode on me. So I'm like, I am Sharpie all the way.
Have you tried any metallic Sharpies at all? Any thoughts with those or anything?
Yes, I have, and for a while, one of the time we did Stars training camps, I did, it's like they come in like the silver, the gold, and the bronze or whatever, and so I was running with a gold through Stars training camp one time because I thought it was cool. That was back when they kind of had like the gold accents, and so I thought it looked really nice. And yeah, I actually don't mind those. I feel like the metallic ones dry out a little bit easier than the just regular ones, but if you can keep it working, I enjoy those for sure.
They seem to be really inconsistent is the big problem I've noticed, because silver ones, you really don't know what you're going to get. Sometimes they work great, sometimes they're absolutely terrible. I've had decent luck with the gold and the bronze, but yeah, they definitely seem to dry out fast, and silver's been too inconsistent for me to trust those very much. So if I venture into paint pens, which is very rare, it's usually only like if I'm getting a puck signed or something like that. There's so many people who are using paint pen on chrome, and I'm like, God, just stop. Just please don't do that.
I see a lot of people on Instagram who are getting just neon crazy, like not even like, I understand. Okay, if you're going to get I don't know, let's say the Oakland A's or something, and you want to get maybe like a lime green, or you want to get like a yellow or something. But I'm seeing like all these people getting orange and all. I'm just like, that's just too much for me.
Yeah. I haven't ventured much into the paint pens aside from on pucks there, but I can't tell you this. And this is part of why I don't take like 50/50s and consignments and stuff like that. Is I've had so many people who say, "Oh yeah, hey, can you get this chrome card done for me?" I'm like, yeah, no problem. Send it on over. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, I need it in like pink paint pen, and I'm like, you're gonna get blue Sharpie, and you're gonna like it. Okay, that's the only way. That's the only way this is happening. So, yeah. I personally, I cannot get into paint pens. They're just so inconsistent. They take a while to dry, and yeah, they may look great and really show up well on some stuff, but yeah, for the most part, I'm sticking to the blue on everything that I possibly can. So yeah. So there you go. Just some thoughts on pens there. Any other thoughts? Anything you want to mention there before we move on from there at all?
I think that about covers it.
Yeah. So there you go. So Milwaukee Inkzall, I'm definitely interested in this. And I think next time at Home Depot, thanks for the tip, Jack. I am going to look into a couple of those. I mean, 99 cents, you can't really beat that. So I'll probably pick up a couple and might give them a try when I'm out in Arizona here we're 3 weeks away from that. So yeah, we'll see how those pan out if I'm able to find them. And if not, well, I think I have a good 8 blue Sharpies right here at the ready. So those should work out pretty well too. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on in to Making the Grade.
Making the Grade is sponsored by CGC Cards. All card grading, all in one place. Certified Guarantee Company, CGC, devoted to the expert grading of collectible cards. Visit cgccards.com today.
Making the Grade is a covery. It is a summary we are covering in this summary. All things related to grading. I am stumbling all over everything right now, and it's hilarious. I hope everybody's enjoying this as much as I am right now. Anyways, Making the Grade. Let's go ahead and hit this up. So, Arron, give us a rundown. What do the big 4 grading companies have for us from this past week?
All right, the week of January 14th through the 19th, PSA graded 287.9 thousand cards. That is a percentage change of down 6%. CGC graded 62.4 thousand cards, which is down 5%. SGC graded 38.7 thousand cards, which is down 9%. And Beckett graded 18.4 thousand cards, which is up a whopping 99% for a total of 407.4 thousand cards that were graded the week of January 14th through the 19th.
It's amazing seeing these Beckett numbers every week where it's like, 18,000, then suddenly down to 9,000, 18,000, then 9. It's like, it's grading by Sybil or something like that. I mean, just wow. It's, I don't know what to say whenever I see that.
Half their grading staff took a nap that week.
I guess so, yes. Wow. Well, big thanks to GemRate for providing those numbers to us, and of course for providing us with the Big 3.
This week's Big 3 is brought to you by GemRate.com. Whose cards are hot and whose cards are cold this week? Let's find out from our friends at GemRate.com.
The Big 3 takes a look at individual players and their grading trends from the previous week, taking a look and seeing who is up and who is down among just single players. And so we've got some big numbers leading the way from Derrick Henry. Baltimore Ravens running back just had his season end last week, but a real nice season for him his first year in Baltimore. They're up 57% on his grading numbers this week. Barry Bonds coming in the number 2 spot, a 22% increase on his stuff getting slabbed. And coming in the number 3 spot, we have Juju Watkins, 19% increase on his grading numbers. We mentioned Henry leads the way this week, and it is his 2016 Donruss base rookie card. That's card number 365 in that set. Was the big winner among individual cards this week. Nearly 50 copies graded in the previous week, and that is a 7 times increase from the week before. So cool to see Derrick Henry having a nice, I don't even want to say resurgence because, I mean, he really didn't fall off that much with Tennessee, but continuing his efforts, I guess, there in Baltimore after moving there from the Tennessee Titans. Meanwhile, we've got the other end of things. Arron, who is falling down the list right now?
Man, it's crazy that Barry Bonds thing. It's like every week I'm on here, it's like random 90s superstar in baseball gets like a humongous bump almost every single week. And so, yeah, Barry Bonds, man, that's crazy. Shout out to him or John Dowd, if you know, you know.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's great to see him doing well. And so falling this week, we have Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert, who's down 18%. KD, Kevin Durant, is down 32%. And Keontae George is down 34%.
There you go. Well, once again, GemRate, big thanks to them for providing us the Big 3 every week. You will find that nowhere except right here on TTM Cast. So if you like it, you got to keep tuning in to be able to get it. Once again, you can follow them on Twitter and Instagram at GemRate. And if you want to get even deeper into some crazy numbers there, go and check out their website at gemrate.com. If you're as big of a numbers and math and stats geek as I am, you're going to have a lot of fun going and checking that out. Let's move on now. Take a look at this week's Stamp of Approval.
I bet you're wondering who earned this week's TTM Cast stamp of approval.
The TTM Cast stamp of approval, it gives us a moment to prove that we're not just a whole bunch of sports and collectibles geeks. We have other interests outside of this, and gives us a chance to, salute some of that stuff. Give our thumbs up to anything from the previous week, and it looks like we're both going food-related stuff on here this week. So this fits my other wheelhouse right here pretty well. So my stamp of approval for this week is one of my favorite dishes that I've just gotten my wife hooked on now as well, and that is tom kha soup. If you like Thai food, this is some of the best stuff that you can possibly find. You start out with this broth that's made of, I think it's like chicken broth, lime juice, and coconut milk. Season it with all sorts of stuff. You put some galangal or ginger in with it. There's usually a little bit of like red curry goes into it. A bunch of other stuff too. You can spice it up to however hot you want or however mild you want. It gets onions, green onions, both green and red onions, I believe. It's either red onion or shallot, one or the other. Maybe both. I don't know. It's got something like that, though. It's some kind of a pungent root vegetable in there of the onion variety. And also green onions. You get mushrooms, you get tomatoes, and then you get whatever kind of meat you want. It's best with chicken or shrimp. Typically, I go with one of those two. You can get with pretty much anything, though, but those are kind of the two preferred forms, at least, as far as I'm concerned. And my God, it is just so good. I mean, especially on a cold day, you order a bowl of that, and you're going to be feeling pretty damn good after it. So, if you like Thai food, if you haven't had tom kha soup, definitely go and try that. And if you haven't had any Thai food, get out more often is all I can really say right there. So, tom kha soup is my TTM Cast stamp of approval for this week. Arron, what do you have on yours?
So, we have this thing at the gym, which is, I own a gymnastics gym. I've said that before. And so once a month,
it's worth mentioning every week just to be on the safe side. So,
yeah. So I own a gymnastics gym, and every month we have this thing that we call Parents Night Out, and I do it really as a service for the parents who are, need a break from their kids. And so you can pay us $10 for 3 hours, which is a great deal, by the way. And you can pay us to take care of your children and have them run around the gym and expend some of this energy that they have. And while we do that, I've also got concessions. We do chips and all of that. So I always laugh and tell people that chip companies should really pay me money. And the reason is because I know what their consumer base is going to be like in 15 years. Because I know what sells to kids and what doesn't sell to kids, and I got some bad news for Cheetos. Cheetos are not selling very well right now. And so one of the things that I always get is fruit snacks, and we just get them from Walmart. They're Fruit Smiles, I think is the actual name of them. And they were really good. And then they have like a month or a couple months where they changed the recipe a couple months ago, and they were terrible. They're like weird and like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like weird and like airy and almost plastic at the same time. They just got really nasty in a hurry. So I don't know if I got a bad batch or whatever. And so, but they seem to have corrected that, and now they are better than they were before. And so I'm a little ashamed to admit that I had like 10 bags of, I say they're pouches, okay? It wasn't like me just like with my hand down to the elbow in a bag of fruit snacks. That's not what I'm saying. But I did have like 10 minuscule bags of these this week because number one, I was hungry and at the gym. Yeah. And but no, they're actually pretty fantastic. So if you need some snacks, go get some Walmart Fruit Smiles for sure.
$10 for 3 hours. Okay, how much does it cost to see a movie these days?
I actually just went and saw a movie. We went and saw Red One right before Christmas, and it was, I believe, $12, something like that. But then again, this is in Podunk, Wichita Falls. So, and after the Metroplex, it's much worse than that.
And you're not getting 3 hours out of that either. I mean, you're getting what, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours at most. So $10 for 3 hours, dude, you could up your prices a bit, I bet. But yeah, you're right. That is a great bargain right there for sure.
And so we try to make it up by getting a lot of kids. So normally we've got somewhere between 30 and 80, depending on the day.
Wow. So there you go. That is this week's TTM Cast Sample Approval as we both go into the food area here this time. Let's go ahead and move on now. Take a look at this week's Vern Rapp Minute. The Vern Rapp Minute is dedicated to the memory of Mr. Vern Rapp, former minor league ball player and major league manager. I looked that up here just this week and found out I was slightly off. He got up to AAA as a player, but managed as a major leaguer. Our show's founder, Jeff Baker, mailed off an autograph request to him and did not know that he had already passed away. And so he got a note back from the family, and we have dedicated this section of the show to his memory, where we cover any deaths in the world of sports, celebrity, music, movies, politics. If it's somebody you might consider TTMing, we will try to let you know if they have passed away. And this week, fortunately, a light week on the Vern Rapp Minute. We've had a couple of long ones here recently, but only 2 to cover here this week. We lost Jeff Torborg. Jeff was a catcher from 1964 to 1973 with the Dodgers and the California Angels. Later went on to be a manager with the Indians, the White Sox, the Mets, the Expos, and the Marlins. 5 teams across his career there. He was the 1990 American League Manager of the Year. He helped turn the White Sox around, a 25-win change between 1989 and 1990, put them right into playoff contention there. He was a great signer through 2014, at which point I know he started suffering some health problems there that prevented him from signing, but excellent signer up until that point. Jeff Torborg was 83 years old.
And we also lost this week Herschel Turner, who was 82 years old. He was an offensive lineman from 1964 to 1965 with the Cardinals. He played 27 games as a backup lineman, and he was an excellent TTMer.
So there you go. If you have lost anybody this week, our thoughts are certainly with you as we move in to our TTM returns.
Was our mailbox full this week? Let's take a look at this week's TTM returns.
Finishing out the show, we're going to take a look at our mailboxes from this week. And I had a very busy week last week. I've had another one here this week. Arron, how about you go ahead and take yours first? We'll get those out of the way here. And so I'm not having to make you wait here to get into yours here.
Okay. All right. I got nothing this week. However, I did send out 2 separate batches. Okay. Which is like a red letter week for me. But, yeah, I don't know if something, like I said, I didn't get mail for 3 days, so I don't know if something happened or what. But apparently it was my whole neighborhood that didn't get mail, so I don't know. But hopefully with the batches that I've sent out, and then I'm working on a few more, hopefully this will be the last time for a while that I don't have anything. Hopefully it will be flowing pretty good here pretty soon.
The mailman just chuck his bag into the sewer and say, "Screw you guys, I'm taking today off" or something. I mean, that's kind of weird that nobody got anything. Wow.
I have no idea. And finally, one of my neighbors went down there and I guess griped at them. It's like, why is nobody getting any mail?
Well, like I said, go on your informed delivery, and I think if you click on each piece of mail there, you can check a box that says, "Hey, I did not receive this," and they'll hopefully get somebody on it to look at it, look it up, and hopefully get it to you there. So might want to check into that.
They did eventually come, but it was seriously 2 days after that.
Jeez. Well, my list here, like I said, last week I had a long one. This week is almost as long, and a mix of a little bit of everything here. Mostly football and hockey, especially heavy on the hockey. A little bit of baseball in there, though, as well. And I'll start with what I got in on Tuesday. And so I sent to Mark Lewis, former infielder for the Indians, the Tigers, couple other teams in there too, but at least, came up through the Indians organization. He signed 4 cards for me, 21 days on the return time in there. Also got back former quarterback John Freeze, who was with the Chargers, the Redskins, and the Seahawks. Signed 4 cards as well. Took about 21 days on those two. And former linebacker Matt Millen of the Raiders, the 49ers, the Redskins, and later the GM of the Detroit Lions. 21-day return from him as well. Also coming in on the same day, Larry Sorensen, former pitcher for the Indians, the A's, a couple other teams in there as well. I think maybe the Phillies for one of them. He took a nice, quick 1,569 days to get those back to me. I sent those in late 2020, so definitely a bit of a surprise to see those come back. But I saw a couple other people get him after a long wait, so I knew that, hey, this might actually get to me in this time.
He's recovering from COVID.
Yeah, apparently a multi-year recovery there. So, but yeah, happy to get that one back at least. That's it did not crack my top 5 longest, but it's definitely up there for sure. So happy to get that in though. Let's see here. I think I also got Rob Zaminer that same day. Sent that's another one I sent up to Canada. So Canada Mail starting to roll here from courtesy of the end of the Canada Post strike. 53-day return time on those cards. Wednesday got in a couple of actually 2 Hockey Hall of Famers in on this one with Norm Ullman, former member of, let's see, the Leafs and the Red Wings at the very least, maybe a couple other teams in there, but he signed 2 cards in 54 days. Just a heads up with Ullman, he will sign up to 3 cards per request for free. It's $5 an item after that, which for a Hockey Hall of Famer, that's worth it, I'd say, if you have more than 3 that you want done. So if you mail off to him, make sure you limit to 3 or toss an extra $5 there if you go above that. Also got back Frank Mahovlich, another Hockey Hall of Famer, 54-day return time on his. He was with the Maple Leafs at the very least, maybe a couple other teams late in his career, but a free signer. And I always find it weird that Frank Mahovlich is in the Hall of Fame and signs for free, but his brother Pete is not in the Hall of Fame and charges $10. So not sure the reasoning on that, but just something to keep in mind there if you want to mail to either of the Mahovlich brothers. I also got back Chris Terreri, goalie for the, let's see, the Devils, the Blackhawks, a couple other teams there. I think maybe the Sharks at one point. Can't really remember now, but he's now the goaltending coach for the Islanders. Signed through the team, 22-day return time on that. And lastly, coming in today, former defenseman for the Philadelphia Flyers, Corey Foster, also a former Cleveland Lumberjack in the International Hockey League. He's now up back home in Canada. Signed in 55 days for me, 3 cards that I mailed up to him. So there you go, a little bit across 3 sports right there, and varying level of quality there as you get the near career minor leaguer in Corey Foster all the way up to a couple of Hall of Famers there. So we're running the full gauntlet there of every possible level there, it seems like. So there you go. Hopefully I'm going to have some more rolling in. I did have also a return to sender, David Lowe, former outfielder for the Royals and Orioles. Used to be the Cleveland organization as well. He's from the Akron area originally. Got a return to sender, but I have been updated with a new address on him, so I'll try that out. Hopefully I'll have him to talk about here in the next couple of weeks. So there you have it. We've reached the end of the show. Big thanks again, Arron, sitting in the co-host seat, Ruthie for doing all of our production work, and we'll come to you with another episode on February 1st. Hopefully should be joined by Sean Sanchez. He's a grapher that I've known from a few Facebook groups and met at spring training last year, hanging out with him at the All-Star game. I know, Arron, I believe you met him there, hanging out with the Holly family there as well, but we're going to get him on, hopefully, to talk about a little spring training preview and just talk about, how he got into this kind of a off-week collector's corner coming to us here with Sean joining us. Arron, any thoughts here before we go ahead and call an end to this one here for the week?
Oh, it's always fun. I love doing the show, so thanks for having me. I assume I'm still not fired, so I'll see you all next week.
He didn't screw anything up, so we're good. So there you go. That's it for this week. And we'll see you next time. Once again, wishing you many happy returns. We'll see you next week here on TTM Cast.
Everyone, be good.